That I'd like to introduce and to come up and speak next is Edie Weinstein, and I'll let her tell a little bit about herself. And you can watch the. You can see yourself.
Cool. Isn't it amazing, the marvels of modern technology? And I'm thrilled that you're all here, and that you're all here, and that you're all here. So I'm going to invite you to take a moment and put your hands on your precious sweet hearts. Take a deep breath in. And then just let out a sound that describes how you're feeling in this moment. Yeah. And throughout the time that we have together, and I think we've got like a half an hour or so, and if you give me like 5 minutes when we're close to the end, because there's an exercise I'd like to do at the end that I would love to involve everybody in, and you guys can experience it vicariously as you're watching from wherever you are. But think about what it took to get you here today. And I say this in just about every presentation or workshop that I do, that this day, this event isn't starting now or when Greg got up to speak or when Annabella got up to sing. It started the moment you decided to come here, whether it was a month ago when you first heard about it or 5 minutes before you got in the car and said, I'm heading over to the Buxmont Unitarian Church. It started for you then. And the journey of love never starts, never ends. It's eternal. Because I believe, and again, I don't tell anybody what to believe spiritually, that we are eternal and that we are love incarnate. That we're not Susie or Greg or Linda or Gary or any, whatever the name is that you were born with, that's not who you are. You are love incarnate. So think about, have you ever seen those bracelets that say WWJD, what would Jesus do? What if there were bracelets, and I think there probably are, that say WWLD, what would love do? So if you identify yourself as love, think about every day, what would you, as love, do in your lives? How would you interact with people? How would you interact with the man or woman in the mirror? How would you interact with even the most challenging situations in your lives? And you don't have to answer that now, you can sit with it because it is a lifelong process. Because my contention is we're all works in progress, regardless of what date is on our birth certificate or our driver's license. I'm 54, but there are times when I feel like I'm 4, or 24, or 84. Can you guys relate to that? That I saw something, it was a card or something that said, how old would you be if you didn't know your age? So think about that. Yeah. Oh, Annabella's put a little feather. Now, did everybody get a feather?
Yes.
Now, there's a purpose for that. I usually tell it at the end, but I'll tell it now if you want. I give out feathers whenever I speak for a lot of reasons. One is that I'm a clown, and my character is a fairy. I have 2 sets of wings back on my table there, and her name is Feather. The other is, or a couple of others, Forrest Gump. Anybody see that movie?
Yeah.
From what, 15 years ago, 20 years? It feels like forever ago. That there was a feather that kind of wafted its way through the movie. And the idea that I took from it is that, do we really know whether life happens at random, like the feather wafting through, or are we at the right place at the right time, like Forrest seemed to be, at pivotal moments in history? Maybe it's both. And then the final piece is to remind you to lighten up or to tickle your fancy or whatever else you have in mind. So, I have people that come to my workshops that have a collection of feathers. So the more you come, the more feathers you're going to get. So play with the feather if you want to tickle yourself. Tickle your neighbor if you want. Ask first. Get permission before you tickle your neighbor. Even if you know them, even if you're married to them, even if they're your best bud, ask first. So today, we're celebrating love. A couple days ago, we celebrated Valentine's Day. And what I tell people is even if you don't have a sweetheart other in your life, you always have a sweetheart because you are your own sweetheart. So a couple of years ago, I wrote a book that got published in 2010. But there are copies back there. One thing that Greg mentioned is that all of us that are here today that are selling things are donating a portion of the proceeds to this event. So by bringing home Susie's stuff, my stuff, Greg's stuff, you're supporting not only us and Annabella's music, which you absolutely, it's wonderful to take home. It's wonderful company in the car. I listen to it in the car. You're also supporting the organization. So we're all shamelessly self-promoting and promoting each other as well. So I wrote a chapter that I've got to find here that was about that. It was about love. So I'm just going to briefly, it's a short chapter, so I'm going to read it to you before I kind of launch into. And I had the page already marked off and it disappeared. So that's kind of how love is too, that it doesn't always fall into order. It's sometimes messy, and we don't always know. I guess the screen is, we're still good. It says it's initializing. Is that what love,
Oh,
or
it's
whatever
probably just
it's doing here?
screensaver.
Yeah, we're good. As long as they can, yeah. We don't want them to miss out on what we're doing here. Okay. So let me find it here. Okay. Love letter to yourself. Okay. So, that too. Okay. Within a breath after, and maybe even before, the holiday decorations emptied from the store shelves, and actually there's still some there. I was in CVS, and they still have Valentine's stuff there. So if you want to get them for next year, now's the time. You can save money. They were replaced with vividly hued red and pink items that heralded another gift-giving and card-offering event, Valentine's Day. For many, it's a reminder of loved ones lost. I remember the Valentine's days when my husband was alive that would begin with cards and gifts hidden under the bed, which we would reach under our respective sides to retrieve. Simple things with creative sentiments that would allow us to sink into the playfulness that hallmarked our relationship. December 2008 marked the 10th anniversary of his passing. While I honor our relationship as it existed then, I'm no longer married to him, or the past that we shared. It now lives on as an incorporated part of all I am. In that spirit, I celebrate each day as Valentine's Day, in which I honor the love that is abundant in every relationship in my life. Friends and lovers, family members, co-workers, and casual acquaintances I pass on the street. It's so much easier to express love to these others than it is to ourselves. Yet I discovered that I cannot truly and fully offer to anyone else what I do not feel for myself. To do so otherwise rings hollow. Over the years, I've engaged in a practice that I invite you to indulge in as well, a love letter to yourself. Anybody ever done that?
No.
Oh, okay, this is your home play assignment. Choose to accept it. Imagine, if you will, that someone you love dearly is writing you the most exquisite creation coming straight from the heart. As we age, we sometimes come face to face with the shoulda, woulda, coulda regrets. We look at our bodies and recall a time when they've been leaner or more flexible and could do more things than they could do now. One of my favorite lines comes from Pete Seeger. You guys might know who Pete. Okay, if you have hippie parents, then you'll know who Pete Seeger is. How do I know my youth is all spent? My get up and go is got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm able to grin when I think of the places my get up has been. But I digress. Back to the letter. Pick out a beautiful card or a piece of stationery. Use a lovely color ink and let flow from your pen words both eloquent and affirming. What would send you swooning? What would have you feel cherished and treasured? You can write about your physical attributes. Choose one thing that you like when you gaze in the mirror. Offer a tribute to your generous spirit, your open heart, your creativity, or even your gardening skills. Then seal it in an envelope and give it to a friend to mail to you in a few weeks, or at a time when you may have forgotten that you had written it. It will show up in your mailbox as a delightful surprise. Remember, guys, this is not just an exercise for women. Men need affirmation too. So, as we appreciate those we love and cherish, make sure to honor the lover in the mirror. So, what we had talked about, my speaking of, is something called What I've Learned About Love. And I'm trying to think what year I wrote this. It might have been around the same time I wrote that. It was a Valentine's gift to my friends. So I wrote it, emailed it to them before the advent of Facebook. And now it's, I put it out on Facebook as well. And I came up with these concepts that just, you guys ever had an experience where you're not consciously writing? Any writers here in the room? Maybe also, yeah, songwriters, maybe, yeah. And those of you that do channeling work, even though it's verbal, you're also writing, but they're downloads. Our speaker at Circle of Miracles today put it eloquently. When Martine was speaking, she was talking about how she has no clue what she's going to say, and neither do I. So, not that I can't take responsibility for what comes out of my mouth, but I have to share responsibility. I call myself God's typist. And sometimes the message just comes through and I have no clue. So when I wrote this, I said, okay, what do you want me to tell people about love? And the first one is love without limits begins with self-love. Now, what were you taught about self-love? You guys call out?
Egocentric.
It's egocentric. What else?
Childish.
Childish, okay.
Selfish.
Okay. So a lot of negatives. Anybody giving positive messages about self-love? Oh, sad. Look around those sad little faces.
Not until recently.
Not until recently. Okay. Yeah.
A positive message would be that you can't love yourself, then you can't love anyone else.
Yeah, and we've learned that, some of us, haven't we?
Yeah.
And as you look around the room, you're surrounded with people who will support you in loving yourself. And the truth is, you can't give what you don't got. I've got this bottle of water here, and it's got this much in there. What if it only had this much, half as much, and you wanted a whole bottle of water from me? Could I fill your bottle completely if I only have half a bottle of water? I can only give you what I've got to give. And then when I give it away, the cool thing about love is that it keeps replenishing itself. So it fills back up, even after I've given you some of mine. But again, you can't give what you don't got. Love is not a commodity to be traded in exchange for security, comfort, or companionship. It is an energy and an essence that has always existed and always will exist. We're taught that if I love you, you're going to love me back. But does that always happen? Yeah. So do you stop loving? Do you cut off the flow because someone doesn't love you in the way that you love them? Or demonstrate love in the same way that you give it to them or offer it to them? Okay. The source of love is not another person. It is within you. You are love incarnate. We're taught to believe that other people are the source of love in our lives. First, our parents and grandparents, our siblings, the dog, the cat, whoever, you feel showering you with love. But the truth is, they're not. So if they die or leave, now I didn't put this on here. Now since I wrote this, I have had some other insights. Think about this. Everybody you love will one day die or leave you, or you will die or leave them. How does that feel when you hear those words? Feel sad? Just sad?
True.
What's that?
Not true.
Not true? Okay. The truth is, when I say leave you, it doesn't mean they may leave their bodies, but they're always going to be with you. But I mean their physical presence. Okay. In the last 15 years, my husband and both of my parents have passed, as well as a number of friends. Yes, they are still here in my heart, but their physical presence is gone from my life. The thing is, when I consider that, I feel sad, but it's a bittersweet kind of thing because the love was so strong between us. They don't truly go away, but I appreciate them all the more because of that. So we talked about the WWLD. Ask yourself, what would love do? And then do it. It's not enough to say it. It's about living it. So think about how you give and receive love every day with the people that cross your paths. Do most of you know each other, or are you all new to each other? Some of us know each other, right? Okay. As you look around the room, a lot of these people are strangers. But think about this. Everybody you now know and love was once a stranger. There was a time, and Gary and I have known each other since Michael died, and I thought we'd known each other a lot longer than that. But he showed up when we were sitting Shiva, and we were part of another community called Pebble Hill, and Gary showed up there. But it feels like I've known him forever. But there was a time when you weren't even on my radar screen. I had no clue who Gary Schoenberg was, and now he's a part of my heart. The other thing that I've learned, and again, not on here, is that we're all sharing molecules. That we're all breathing the same air, that we're all sitting in each other's presence. And when you leave here, you're going to be taking other people's molecules with you back out into your lives.
Sounds like my
You can call it an aura, you can call it energy, whatever it is. You're right. Yeah, it's not exactly. It's sort of like safe sex, but you got to. But what's that?
Safe molecules.
Safe molecules, yeah. Gary has a very punny sense of humor, so I was waiting for something to come from you. But you think about that the people who are the closest to you, there was a time when you didn't even know them. Susie and I have known each other at least 10 years, probably. I don't know, through Circle, through Pebble.
It's been 10?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but close a long time, 5 years at least. There are people that are part of we're part of these overlapping soul circles. Maria and I have known each other since Michael, so 20-some years we've known each other. But you think about that, we have all these overlapping soul circles, these people that we connect to, the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trail that connects you. I started going to Circle in 2001, and because I went there, I met a lot of the people that are here. So think about that. Every choice you make is a choice to love yourself and to love the world, because you have so much to give. You guys realize that? And the more you love yourself, the more you're going to put yourself out there to give that love back out into the world. So what else? Oh, anybody here ever feel unlovable? Sometimes. I think we all do from time to time. Take a moment to consider the innocent child that you once were and ask yourself, am I any less worthy of love than that child? Annabella was singing about that, about being a child of God, that's who we are. Again, my perception, I don't tell anybody what to believe spiritually, but that's my take on it, and it gives me comfort. So when you feel unlovable, do you guys all have pictures of yourselves as children?
Yes.
Okay, or at least in your heart and your head. Envision that little child, and no matter what you've been through, know that you are just as worthy of love as that little one. Learn to love. This is a fun one. Learn to love with abandon without fear of being abandoned. What's it mean to love with abandon?
Not to expect to love back.
Well, that's possible. That's one way. Yeah.
They love her very much.
Yeah, both. Just kind of throw it out there. It's sort of like if I had a handful of feathers and just scattered them out there, it would just go wherever it went. Anybody ever love like that? Where you just toss it out there, or do you know somebody in your life that just is out there loving? Patch Adams is a good example. Trying to think who else. The guy that started the Free Hugs campaign. Just loving just because you can't not do it. Anybody sometimes feel like they can't not show love? And I know that's grammatically incorrect and very sad that writers say that. But if you can't not do something, it's not like it's a healthy obsession. But if you can't not love, then go out and do it. Anybody ever see the movie Harold and Maude? It's a cult classic. If you haven't watched it, watch it. One of the very last lines at the end, when she's being, and I don't want to spoil the movie for those that haven't seen it, when she's being taken away in an ambulance. Harold says to her, you can't leave me, Maude, I love you. And she says, do you guys remember? Go and love some more. Okay. So I get goosebumps when I say that. Goosebumps are my truth barometer. When I feel goosebumps, I know it's on target. So go and love some more, guys. This is a cool one. What is the purpose of a Teflon coating on a frying pan? What's it do?
Sticks.
Nothing sticks. It slides off. And what does a sponge do? Absorbs. Okay. How many of you wear Teflon shields when it comes to people loving you?
Sometimes.
Anybody ever not do that? Okay. I think we're indoctrinated to do that. Oh, I can't accept that gift, that compliment. During Circle today, when I leaned over, it wasn't with the intention of having you massage my back, but I was so grateful to have you do that I really appreciated it. And I was willing to accept, oh, no, I can't have it, So we let the love slide off. And think about this. If you were a love sponge, you just soak it all up. And what happens to a sponge when it gets full? What do you need to do with it? You wring it out, okay? So if you're a love sponge, just soaking it all in, you can wring it out on everybody that you encounter. How cool is that? So my intention, I can't speak for everybody else who's doing Greg, but I'm guessing your intention too, is that we leave here as full love sponges. And we can just wring it out on the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you are now officially
Drip
love.
on people.
What'd you say?
I'm gonna go drip on people.
Yeah. I just start giving out sponges during during my presentation, not just feathers. Yeah. Okay. Love never dies, even if the person does. Their love surrounds you as if a warm, cozy blanket in your favorite color. Anybody here lost loved ones to death, to the other, that are on the other side? Yeah. Yeah, like I said, me too. But they are so present in my life. There are times when I say, "Oh my God, I'm my mother." I'm saying. I mean, for some people, it's for better or for worse. For me, it's for better. I love being like my mother. My sister even says I'm starting to look like her now. That I'm embodying her positive qualities. What else? No one will ever love you enough to make up for you not loving yourself. We so expect other people to give us love. We're back to the love as a commodity thing. That we so expect other people to give us love when it's here. It's all in here. Everyone in our lives is on loan to us. Love them now. When Michael was in the hospital, he was in the ICU for 5.5 weeks in a coma waiting for a liver transplant. So what I would do every day is what I called God wrestling, where I would say to God, "He's mine and you can't have him." And God would say, "He's mine and he's on loan to you like everybody else in your life." So what if you realize that everybody is on loan to you? Yeah. How would you live with them? How would you live with the people in your life, even the ones that push your buttons, that annoy the heck out of you?
That was easy.
Okay. How many people have one of these? Anybody ever have a real easy button? You can get it at Staples. It's like $5, something like that, and it's some of the best $5 I've ever spent, except for the mugs back there. So you can. I definitely want to get some of those mugs. They're $5. But think about how easy it is for people to push our buttons when they annoy the poop out of us, right? Okay. So think about that. What if you knew that in 6 months they weren't going to be here? How would you deal with them? How would you treat them? How would you interact with them? And how would you allow them to love you? Love is never wasted. Anybody ever have an ending of a relationship where you said, "Damn, I wish I'd never been involved with that person. That was so painful. I never want to feel like that again." Everybody, yeah. But the truth is, love is never wasted. How come?
It always comes back.
Yeah.
Comes back.
Well, that and everything we do in our life contributes to us and builds.
Mhm.
It builds, as we grow and evolve in our lives. So there are things that we've all done.
Yeah.
Whether it's a relationship or something else that we were into and we thought, oh, that was a waste of whatever time and effort or whatever we judge it, but actually it's not. I mean, everything does contribute to where we're going
Yeah.
and what we're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And because anybody else on this side, I don't want to cut you guys off too, because there's a lot of wisdom on this side of the room too. It's not just relegated to this side of the aisle here. Yeah. And it shows us who we are, because everybody is a mirror, aren't they? Even the ones that, again, that push our buttons, that have access to the easy button in our lives, they're a mirror for us. They show us who we are, who we want to be, and maybe who we don't want to be. So at this age, I've been in a lot of different relationships, and some of them are the perfect mirrors for, I never want that again in my life. Have you ever had a relationship where the red flags started waving wildly at you, and you didn't listen? And then you thought, oh God, I'd had a relationship that was 4 months long, but I say that it was 3 months and 3 weeks too long, because the red flags started waving right away. So when you think about those kind of, even that one, there was a benefit to it. I learned something. I learned a lot. And part of it was trust your intuition. You guys pretty good at that? At trust, knowing who to trust? Better at it? Yeah. One of the things I teach about is codependence. And for some people, that's a clinical, technical term, but it also has a lot to do with the way that we interact with the people around us. That you never have to earn love. Did anybody teach you that you got to earn love? Got to be a good girl, a good boy to earn love?
I feel like this is kind of the standard of how the world is set up right now.
Yeah. So what can we do to change that? How do we change that? How do we turn that lie around? You never have to earn love.
Change it over to deserve.
Deserve?
You deserve.
You deserve love, absolutely. Can everybody say that? I deserve love.
I deserve love.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and you do. Every one of you deserves love. Not because you've earned it, not because you're a good boy or a good girl, but because you are. You just are. And okay, Ashley, that carton's dripping. Okay, yeah, it's dripping from the bottom. I don't want you to get all. You just missed that. What's that? What? Yeah, she's overflowing. You guys just missed it. We're all talking about being love sponges and dripping. So she's a love carton. There we go. Okay. I just had a middle-aged moment. Where was I going with this? Anybody else have those?
Yeah.
I deserve love.
I deserve love, right? Okay, we got a Tony Robbins seminar here. We got you guys just shouting it back out. Okay. The other way to how do you show love? How do you allow love into your lives? What are some ways that you guys allow for it and offer it out into the world?
You don't judge.
Okay. Do you judge yourself?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Don't judge others is what we're taught, right? Okay. Yeah.
Listening effectively.
Yeah. Do you listen to yourselves? Do you listen to your own heart?
I smile at people.
Even those you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Especially
course.
those
Especially,
I don't know.
yeah. My son is 25, and throughout his life, when I say hi or smile to strangers, he'll say, "Mom, do you know that person?" I said, "Not yet." And he says, "Well, why are you smiling at them? Why are you saying hi?" I said, "Because they're in my world." And you never know. I've met friends in the supermarket checkout aisle. There's something, if you guys can look it up, there's something on, I saw on Facebook, part of a website called Soul Pancake. And they had this thing that I'd love to set up here, which is a box, like a pit with the balls in it that you jump into, like a kids kind of thing. And you sit down there with one other person and you get to know them. You have a conversation with the other person. And on each of some of the balls in there are questions like, who was your first love? Or what was the first time you did this? What are some things we have in common? And they're perfect strangers, different ages, different cultures, different skin tones. And what if we could do that every day? What if we could talk to a stranger and turn them into a friend? Like the magic wand here. Okay, what if we each had one of these? And the people in particular that push our buttons that we think are so different from us, what if we saw them as that innocent child? What if we saw them as love incarnate? And we would just go like that. Yeah.
There was a guy out in California that used to stand on a corner of Pacific Coast Highway, which is the road nearest to the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just wave as cars went by. He
Yeah.
would just stand there all day and wave. And he became known as the waver. And
Mhm.
people who drove the highway would look forward to getting where he was so
Mhm.
that they could get away from him. And he started getting notoriety. He was written up
Yeah.
in some magazines and newspapers and all of that, and no one ever knew who he was,
Mhm.
where he lived, anything, but they all looked forward to going nuts and get with
Yeah.
him.
And he made their day,
He did.
and they look forward to that. How can you do that? Is there something that you guys do? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I work with children, and it's a blessing. And it's so easy to, when you see a strange child, to, smile to them and wave at them and say hi. So I started thinking, when I start seeing other people, if I just see them as a child, it makes it a lot easier to smile at them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's sort of like a parallel of what they teach you, and this doesn't really work, but I've heard it for years, that if people are nervous about speaking, imagine the audience in their underwear. I have a neighbor, or had a neighbor, he moved, that wrote a book called Naked People Won't Help You. What's that, you have it? Yeah, Steve Osher, I think was his name, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's a book that's supposed to help people get comfortable with public speaking. Now, you guys may have heard that it's the biggest fear that people have is of public speaking. You know what the second biggest fear is? Death. So most people would rather die than speak in public. Not me, obviously. Not a lot of us in this room. But if you can look at the audience and see them as children, that might be a little different than seeing them as adults in their underwear. So, unless they have really nice underwear, So think about that. So that works every which way imaginable. If you could all see each other, can you imagine each other as little children? What did you guys like to do when you were kids? What was fun for you?
Make mud pies.
Mud pies. Ooh, when was the last time you did that? When you weren't gardening, when you weren't doing, when there wasn't a purpose for it, when it was just for the heck of it. What's that? Okay, I'm going to say. What else did you like to do when you were kids?
Monkey bars.
Monkey bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Monkey bars.
Yeah, I have a monkey bar story to share. There's a story about everything. You guys know that. When I was in elementary school, in our playground, there were the long kind of monkey bars that you had to get across, and it looked like it was like a mile long. And what I used to do, I was determined to get across these monkey bars. I was like 6 or 7, maybe kindergarten or first grade. And I was a kid that had asthma. I was a kid that was pigeon-toed and flat-footed. I had to wear these horrible corrective shoes. I couldn't wear, sneakers or loafers or saddle shoes back then. I had to wear these horrible red clunky shoes. And I was determined to get across those damn monkey bars. So I would just one after the other, and then I would hang there because I didn't have the strength to get across. And I would get blisters on my hands. Anybody else ever do that from hanging on the monkey bars? And I was so determined, and by the end of the school year I was able to do it. But it's also about knowing when to hold them and when to fold them, that you need to hang on as long as you can. And it's sort of like that with loving relationships sometimes, that you hang on till you get blisters. Anybody ever have those? Yeah.
Right.
Heart blisters? Yeah. They heal, but you still always have a little callus. And it may make you feel a little nervous about loving some more, being like Maude. But I encourage you to do that. So what else? So mud pies, monkey bars,
Seesaws.
seesaw. Okay. Everything is a parallel to relationships because on a seesaw, sometimes you're the one that's lifting the other person up. Sometimes they're lifting you up.
They have trust, they don't jump off.
Yeah, okay. And sometimes they do. In a workshop that I teach called Cuddle Party, some of you may be familiar with it, there's this exercise that we do that talks about a tricycle. Imagine, if you will, that you're a kid on his brand new red tricycle, and you're riding down the street, and you see your friend Maria, and you say, Maria, do you want to ride on the back of my tricycle? And Maria says,
Sure.
no. Maria's going to say, no, I don't want to ride on the tricycle. No. And she's riding, she sees her friend Susie. And she says, Susie, you want to ride on the back of my tricycle? And Susie says,
No.
no. Okay. She'll say no. Get the best to say no. And the thing is, she is so involved in riding on the tricycle, she doesn't care that her friends don't want to ride on there with her. And she's not thinking, oh my God, is it me? Is it my tricycle? Am I the kid in the playground that all the kids are talking about, with the red tricycle? She doesn't care. But the cool thing is, her friends may see that she's having such a good time that they want to jump on the back too. So they're going to be riding with her for a while, but then what happens if they want to get off the tricycle, like getting off the seesaw? What's that feel like? Anybody ever have somebody want to get off your tricycle? Not much fun, huh?
No.
Yeah. And the corollary to that is, what if you want to get them the heck off the tricycle and they're not budging? Have you ever had that experience too? Yeah. So probably just about everything that you've ever done as a child could be, what's the right word, affiliated with, associated with what it's like to be in loving relationships. What else was fun? What else did you guys like to do?
I think time with my grandmother.
Time with your grandmother. Is your grandmother still living, or is she
No.
gone? She's gone. Okay, and that was a precious time for you. You treasured that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would go to Burger King together, and she would buy me Barbie dolls, and we spent time in the kitchen when she was making my farina every morning.
Oh.
We played games together. She was a good sport. She knew
That's
what
good.
children liked.
Because she probably was a child herself.
Yeah,
Right.
we're into that.
Yeah, cool beans. So she's with you. So every time you see Farina and Barbie dolls and Burger King, you think of your grandmother?
Well, I think of her a lot, but I don't know about it in association
If that's a
with
trigger.
all these things, 'cause I can't stand Burger King.
Oh. Well, at least the Farina and the Barbie dolls. So every time you guys see Farina and Barbie dolls, you think of her. What's your name?
Lily Morrow.
Lily. Okay, you think of Lily's grandmother. Okay. As Greg is telling me, we're getting close to the end, and I want to do an exercise that I think Gary's experienced before. I'm going to share this with you guys. On November, 11/11/11, I was in Sedona visiting a friend, and we had gone to a yard sale, a series of yard sales, because she was looking for fireplace tools. She never found them, but I found this. Okay, did you see this one too? Did I do this at the workshop?
No.
You did? Okay. It's a spice box, okay? Seems like any other spice box. But on the front it says, love, spice for living, net weight immeasurable. And you would think that it's empty, okay? But it's not. Guess what it's filled with? Love. Yeah, I was going to put glitter in there, and I said, no, I don't want to do this. So what I'm going to ask you to do, can you guys all stand up? And I'm going to start it right here with Susie. Now, like any other spice box, there's the spoon, the big one, the sprinkle, and the dump. So I'd like you to ask the person next to you, just like asking permission to tickle them with a feather, do you want to be spooned, sprinkled, dumped, all three, or none of the above? And then once you're done, pass it to the next person. I'd like you to think about this. While we're doing this, what does it feel like to be loved on? What does it feel like to be giving? What does it feel like watching other people get loved on? What does it feel like to anticipate your turn to give or receive? And this is a whole huge, again, middle-aged moment. What would you call it? Paradigm. A whole, that has to do with love and how we relate to it. So just have a blast, guys. Go for it. I'll take pictures of these guys. Thank you.
Wide open. All of it. All of it. No, all three. Give me as much as you got.
And listen to people's communication about it. Give me as much as you got. What if we did that? What if we all gave each other as much as we got, and it filled back up? Go for it.
How much love would you like?
All of it. Let me have it.
Oh, now.
And I thank you.
I'll take it all. Shower me
Go for it. Love so.
I gotta play it later.
Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, can I play a song?
All of it. All right.
Yeah,
Here it
check it out.
comes. Good. Turn it around, baby. All right.
Can we hear it?
Here you go. You are loved.
Oh, shower the people. Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, we want it all. This crowd can take it all.
One thing you need to know, it doesn't take a sacrifice.
All of it. And then some.
If it feels nice, don't think twice. Just show me. Show me where that you feel. Things are gonna turn out fine if we hold it.
Good song.
Like that?
Things are gonna be much better. You got rock together hard. This is why they know.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you. All right. There's yes. All right. There you go. Backside. All right, we got it. Thank you very much. There you go. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Take it off. There we go. You're welcome.
Turn on. Turn on.
Hold on, baby. Anywhere you want it. Oh, perfect. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
How would you like?
Here.
Just make sure you don't miss any spots.
Got it all?
Everyone.
Oh, that's a good boyfriend.
Okay. Oh, all of it. Thank you. Oh. Thank you. So, did you guys feel that?
So wait.
Oh, we're gonna sprinkle
Let's,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so-
Ready? Okay, we got the love can. What, do you want to sprinkle them?
Yeah, wait.
Okay.
So this is. Oh, you started. Oh,
We get sprinkled. We gotta do Susie. We gotta do Susie.
How much you want?
Hey, don't go away, don't go away. Keep sprinkling. Oh, bless. Look at that.
Oh, I got some of that too.
Perfect. Okay, now you do
All
that.
right, so everyone online, this is the love box. So we're going to sprinkle you with love. There
Yeah.
we go.
Thank you. Can you guys congratulate yourselves? How'd that feel? Any insights? Anything come up for anybody?
Felt good?
Felt good. Okay. Yeah.
I felt sorry for Susie because she gave it all away and then had to wait to get something.
Oh, but when you were watching other people experiencing it, didn't you get it vicariously too?
Yes.
Was it just, yeah, you really got to take it in. So in that spirit, I honor everybody who's here. I'm so glad that you're here. I feel filled up. It's like, wow. My sign-in sheet back there, I ask you, if you're not already on my email list, to please put yourself on there. I'm giving away a free 1-hour coaching session, either phone or Skype, or if you're local, in person. And what I'll do is close my eyes and go and point when I get home and pick the person out and then get in touch with them. And I do what I call bliss coaching. So it's working on any issue that you want in your lives. The books are back there, and as I said, all of us that are selling products are donating a portion of the proceeds to this cause. So we offer you the opportunity to bring home whatever your bliss is. And there's chocolate on my table too. It's a bribe. And there's more better. Always chocolate. So I thank you. I honor you. I love you. Namaste. You guys too.